According to official science, the human brain is an organ of the central nervous system, consisting of numerous interconnected nerve cells and their processes. The main function assigned to the structures of the brain is to ensure interaction with the environment. The brain forms commands responsible for various processes in the body, such as thermoregulation, metabolism, selective development of structural formations that provide the adaptive capabilities of the organism, neurohumoral regulation, and much more. In simple terms, the brain is tangible. You can touch it with your hands. It's material and performs its functions regardless of external environmental conditions. In this video, we want to supplement this official view with other data obtained by Professor of Physics Alexander Catov in the 1990s during communication sessions with the planetary mind of Earth. What are Alexander Catov's works, even in the most general understanding? This is information about the foundations of a new science, expressed in calculations, explanations, in new terminology, and in proofs of energy physics and brain physics, in a full understanding of what the brain is. I want to emphasize that people receive any scientific discoveries and technical inventions exclusively from the mind of our planet, which they call the Almighty, the Creator, and some even call God. It is originally designed so that the evolution of the planetary mind is driven by intelligent representatives of humanity under its constant supervision. Our planet is a living intelligent organism, and it is currently in the first stage of its evolution, which is characterized by such a frequency range of perfection of the planetary mind as 2 to the power of 512 oscillations per second. In reality, the human brain is a connected state of several energy structures of space, and only one of them is material, limited by a frequency range of no more than 2 to the power of 64 oscillations per second. The other brain structures are immaterial and have higher frequency ranges. They are used to control the material brain located in the human skull, and through it, the human flesh. The hierarchy of control in the cosmos is simple. Lower frequency ranges cannot control higher ones. We assert that the energy structures of the brain are electrical constructs based on photons, existing in a state of cold plasma, controlled by magnetic impulses, and supported by gravitational potentials from the outside, specifically by planetary control structures. Now you can see on the screen the construct of the energy structures of the human brain. It is called a dodecahedral sphere. Remember this word, for this energy structure is at the foundation of planets and galaxies, and even any internal organ of a human is also controlled by its own dodecahedral sphere. The size, functions, and operation of any organ depend on the information embedded in various elements of the sphere, and of course, on its control by the human brain. Let's examine together several examples of so-called miracles that demonstrate the presence of the brain's energy structure. On icons and statues in Christian churches, we can see depictions of a certain glow around people's heads. This glow is called a halo. The halos of saints come in different shapes: oval, round, triangular, hexagonal, in the form of flashes of fire, and many other various forms. Not every person can see such a glow. The capabilities of human vision are not limitless and occupy a small frequency range. Everything above the capabilities of human vision can only be seen by the brain. Yes, don't be surprised. Not everyone has the ability to see with their brain. But if people have fragments of high frequency ranges of their brain above 2 to the power of 64 oscillations per second, they can see much beyond the threshold of possibilities of modern humans. The so-called halos are present in every person to some degree. This is simply a reflection of the light perception of the work of the dodecahedral sphere of the human head. Look how it appears. This is where the crowns on the heads of rulers came from. Ancient rulers had a visible glow around their heads. They didn't need crowns. People who saw such a glow understood that before them was a highly developed human who had the right to command. Moreover, those ancient rulers were of enormous height, from 3 to 5 meters and taller. They were not called Your Excellency, Your Majesty, and Your Highness for nothing. They were the so-called patricians. Later, the descendants of these rulers who took their place, who were also of great height but no longer possessed such a bright glow around their heads, were forced to wear crowns, diadems, and other headgear made of gold, silver, and precious stones, in order to at least somewhat resemble their ancestors. Similar energy structures exist throughout the human body. These structures can be confidently called the reinforcing framework of human flesh. Only these constructs have an electrical and magnetic nature. They replenish their potential from the outside through interaction with the same reinforcing framework, but of the Earth's atmosphere. The atmosphere is part of the structure of the planet's dodecahedral sphere. It is a structure for receiving energy flows for human life and more. Another example, people who have received head injuries after accidents or other emergencies, where part of the skull and consequently the brain is missing. How do such people who have experienced catastrophic changes in the size of their brain and skull continue to live as normal people? After all, this is practically impossible. Some people have no brain at all in their skull, or have some kind of fluid inside, but they also live quite normal lives. Many live peacefully as normal people, but die without ever knowing that they had no brain in their head. This is only discovered by pathologists. It turns out that the energy structures of the human brain have the ability to control organs and systems even without using the material brain that lives in the skull, through direct interaction of the dodecahedral sphere of the head and similar spheres of internal organs, only of lower frequency ranges. Humans are an energy informational controlled system, receiving information from outside not only from planet Earth, but also from galactic structures. As a specific example, it can be reported that the streams of magnetic particles and photons emanating from the sun constantly saturate all of humanity, with new schemes of connecting neurons in people's brains, and for each brain genotype separately. The introduction of new schemes for connecting brain neurons is often very painful for humans. The process of constant support of a person not only through neural connection schemes, but also through other energy flows is called life support. During life processes, a person's flesh and energy structure expend energy and receive it from outside to compensate for these expenditures. This energy flow decreases over time, and a person ages. Their flesh seems to shrink, not only externally, but also internally, because the flow that creates it becomes smaller than in youth. Absolutely all people after the age of 32 begin to deplete their life resource, and all people over 53 years old have practically exhausted it. In other words, the root cause of many diseases is the loss of effectiveness in the brain's control over internal organs and human systems. All sick people are, in essence, sick only because they have depleted their resource of life support. This life resource becomes difficult to replenish with energy at the level of a young organism due to critical errors accumulated over time in the brain's management for coordinating the work of the entire organism. Unfortunately, today's development of the human brain constitutes only 5 to 8% of its true potential. In order to effectively and completely heal a person, it is necessary, at the very least, to be able to prompt the brain with everything it doesn't know about managing the cells of human flesh. How to do this, we will explain in the next video of our series, New Knowledge for All.